Good morning. For those that don't know me, my name is Megan. I've been a member here for about 8 years now, maybe. Today is Pride Sunday, where we celebrate the wonderful lives of our LGBTQ plus siblings in God's kingdom. When the O&A committee was planning how to celebrate today, we had a lot of discussion about getting a speaker, possibly someone from the LGBTQ plus community, to speak about their experiences. And while I will always believe that there is value in bearing witness to the stories of others, this Sunday we're going to focus on our impact on the LGBTQ plus community through examining what it means to be an ally and how we engage in allyship. The word ally itself is a noun. In this context, an ally would be someone who supports the LGBTQ plus community. My favorite biblical example of being an ally is in John's Gospel with our favorite doubting Thomas. When Jesus returned and revealed himself to his disciples, Thomas was not present. This caused Thomas to have his most famous proclamation of not believing that Jesus had returned until he could touch the wounds in his hands and his sides. Thomas wanted proof. In our modern society, we often see people asking LGBTQ plus people to provide us proof of who they are, particularly when it comes to transgender individuals. There are people and even laws that ask a person to prove themselves in order to have identification that reflects their name and gender identity they have, or have access to a bathroom to meet their needs, or even for children to participate on sports teams. When Jesus is told of Thomas's doubt, he responds by saying, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe." This is a metaphor for what it means to be a modern-day LGBTQ plus ally. To believe who someone is without asking for their proof. To believe and support someone's identity, whether it be their gender identity or their sexual identity, without asking for proof. For simply believing someone is who they say they are and loving them fully. To support their rights to be treated as a whole person. And as Christians, support their identity as you support that of Jesus. Many people, particularly some transgender Christians, will talk about this story in a much different way. About Jesus embracing his scars. Jesus, having died, could have removed his scars in his hands and his side, but instead he wears them. He offers them to Thomas as proof of who he is because he embraces them. This is relatable for people who carry all kinds of scars, both physical and emotional. That your scars are not something that you need to hide, but rather something that can be embraced and a part of what makes you who you are. Being an ally for marginalized communities, particularly the LGBTQ plus population, is something that we all strive to be. But to be an ally, you must do something. This is where allyship comes in. Allyship, unlike ally, is a verb. It requires action. Allyship is what you do to show your support of the LGBTQ plus community. It requires us as allies to show up for people. The Bible regularly calls for our allyship of marginalized communities, from to love your neighbor as yourself in the 10 Commandments, to welcoming the stranger in Leviticus and in Matthew, and defending the oppressed in Psalms and Isaiah. But what can that look like in your practice? As I often tell students when I'm teaching workshops on LGBTQ plus identities, allyship doesn't mean that you have to attend big parades and wear rainbow striped clothing every day, though I do enjoy that a lot. But the most impactful allyship comes when you act in small ways very often. In your practice of allyship, this can mean things like setting aside time to read a book by an LGBTQ plus author. Spend time seeking out educational opportunities to continue to grow your knowledge of LGBTQ plus related topics. Of course, the courts. You're like a cat, Morgan. Okay. Challenge yourself. Get comfortable being uncomfortable by challenging your thoughts and your biases. We all have bias, whether that's implicit or explicit, about the LGBTQ plus community, myself included. But having bias doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. To challenge that bias and to grow, the need to confront it, that can include some uncomfortable truths about it. Challenging your bias is an act of allyship. Taking time to consider that even if we don't understand someone's identity or family, that we are called to affirm them. They are also children of God. Maybe someone has a gender identity different from ours, or a family structure that's different from ours. We can affirm each person as a child of God, even if we don't feel that we can relate to or understand their identity or their family. When we are searching for and looking to bring in new members to our church, we can make sure we are actively seeking to bring in LGBTQ plus families, knowing that their experience and perspective can add value to our community. Many people, particularly those in religious communities, like to call themselves allies without engaging in allyship. And truthfully, you cannot be one without the other. To be an ally means you take action. We can all do more to support the LGBTQ plus community. Isaiah 1:17 says, "Learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow." This is a direct call to action. Are you listening? Are we listening?